Confirmed reports Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Rooyen is also bringing a court application to halt the release of outgoing Public Protector Thuli Madonsela's report on state capture. In the meantime, the EFF says it will do everything in its power to ensure that the Public Protector's report on alleged state capture is released. The party was reacting to a last-minute attempt by President Jacob Zuma to halt Thuli Madonsela's preliminary findings due to have been released tomorrow. Madonsela steps down tomorrow after a 7-year reign. Zuma's application for a court interdict against the release is only due to be heard in the High Court in Pretoria on Tuesday. For more on this story, we are now joined via Skype by legal analyst and commentator Brenda Wardle. Brenda, thank you very much for joining us. Now, are you able to define for us what these applications for an interdict against her draft report on her investigation into state captures were about?
Good evening, Tabitha, and good evening to the viewers. Well, the application for an interdict, and I find that slightly strange by the President. Normally, when you apply for a final interdict, you bring an application for interim relief, or a rule nisi as it is called, and you approach the court on an ex parte basis. So you go to court without serving the Public Protector, and you then say to a judge, whether it's in chambers or an open court, that this is the harm that I'm going to suffer should this report be released. So I'm asking the court, therefore, to issue an interim order or a rule nisi, calling upon the Public Protector in this instance to show cause by next Tuesday why the final interdict should not be granted. A mere service of a notice of an application for an interdict does not bar the Public Protector from releasing that report tomorrow.
Now, what happens if she does release it tomorrow? You've just said now that nothing essentially stops her from releasing it tomorrow, but the matter will only be heard on Tuesday.
If she does release it tomorrow, remember there's no court order, so she won't be in contempt of court. So I don't understand the thinking of the legal team of the President as to why they wouldn't apply for interim relief and just go and serve papers that we are bringing an application, because in law that doesn't prohibit the other party or doesn't stop the other party from doing anything.
Now, Brenda, let's look at the fact that the Public Protector is leaving office tomorrow. If she doesn't release this report by tomorrow and we wait until Tuesday, does that mean the release will be deferred, or will it be moved on to the new Public Protector?
Look, the Public Protector is essentially relying on both the Public Protectors Act but also the Executive Members Ethics Act and the Code. And in terms of that act, she is the one who must investigate all allegations that are similar to the ones that have been made about state capture already. But the act goes further and says that if within 30 days, the Public Protector is then under a duty to submit a report. Now, this act talks essentially, even though it does cover the President, it talks about handing the report to the President if the complaint is against a member of cabinet, a deputy minister, or a premier. So she needs to submit that report to the President. What is tricky about this one is that the allegations go against the President himself. So who is she going to submit this report to? But going back to what I started off with, the Act does allow, if the report is not ready, then the Public Protector can actually state that the report is not ready yet, that she needs to conduct further investigations, and then she will have to submit another report at a later stage, which in this instance would have to be submitted by Advocate Mkhwebane, the new Public Protector.
Brenda, let's look at the President's request to interview witnesses that have spoken to the Public Protector on this case. We know that it's well within his right to request these interviews, but just take us through the significance of it.
Well, I regarded it as a bit draconian. Yes, the President has a right in terms of our law, in terms of constitutionalism. He has a right to challenge and adduce any evidence. But we must remember that this is not a criminal case. So wanting to interrogate and using a word as harsh as that, the people who had testified, who deposed to affidavits, for me is a bit regrettable. I do understand, though, that the President has a right to say, show me what these allegations are. And the Public Protector says all that information had already been given to him. Because in terms of the audi alteram partem rule, or hear the other side, it's important for him, as I said, to challenge and to dispute what he disagrees with in that report.
Now, another thing that's been heavily contentious is the fact that the Public Protector is rushing to get this report out because she's leaving office. Is it fair to say that her concern might be the utterances of the incoming Public Protector, who said that the state capture issue would not be one of her priorities, that there are other things that she will prioritize?
Well, I think you are quite right posing that question. When Advocate Mkhwebane said, and I listened to her interview on your channel, when she essentially said that she would prioritize bread and butter issues, I'm not quoting her verbatim, and that the state capture issue would take a back seat. I think those are the concerns that Thuli Madonsela has as outgoing Public Protector, and it kind of paints a bleak picture, and I think Advocate Mkhwebane would also have to tread very, very carefully. However, I do not think there is a real need to rush this. The two Public Protectors, both the outgoing and the incoming one, need to sit around the table and say, this is the leeway that I've made with this case. I've concluded it. The President has raised certain issues, and this is the program. This is what I would like you to do going forward. And it is regrettable that both the Office of the Public Protector and the Presidency have made this a public spat. I don't understand the whole thing of going on Twitter by the Public Protector and saying, this is what I had actually done. So it was a tit-for-tat spat, where the President saying he wants her to delay the publishing of the report, and her reacting on social media about something as sensitive and as important to our constitutional democracy as these allegations of state capture.
Brenda, we'll have to leave it there for now, but we'll be chatting to you in just a bit on those summons that were served to the EFF leader, Julius Malema.